Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Call to Action podcast. This is episode 39. I'm here with two of Action Army's finest. We have Richard here. What's up, Richard?
What's up? Haven't been here for a while. It's good to be back.
And of course, I'm here with Danielle.
Hey, y'all. I'm glad to be back too.
All right, so let's get right into it. We're going to be covering last week's matches, which is, first off, we're going to be talking about Brandon Meyer versus Drew Grant. So this was a pretty straight-up match. It was Drew Grant's debut. She had a pretty interesting character. What do you guys think of this match?
I think, Danielle, you're muted at the moment.
I know. I'm trying not to be muted. Hi. I loved Drew. Her personality was so much fun to see. It's different, but it's still great. I love her being scary.
Yeah, she was a bit weird and quirky, but I think it worked well for her character. Yeah. She definitely needs some more time to get into the character, because at times I was like, all right, I like what she's doing. And then I was like, oh, that doesn't work. But then I was on board again. So I think she just needs to get more into the character. I think she could be really fun. Yeah,
I really liked her. I really hope we see more of her, because we don't really have that weird, quirky baby face. We have fun like wild berries and whatever. But I don't think we've ever had someone quite like her. And I don't know, she was really interesting. I'm wondering how long it's going to be until that gets kind of old. But I'm still pretty entertained by it. Like the whole match, I was kind of smiling because I don't know. I really liked her whole gimmick and everything. And I think it really worked well that her opponent was Brendan Meyer and not like a super heel or anything. Like he just kind of played along with it.
Yeah, I would have felt bad for her if she had gotten demolished verbally by someone straight from the get-go.
Yeah, definitely. Brendan Meyer seems like a very nice dude.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, before I forget, you guys want to talk about the scene before the match where with him and Bibbs?
Oh right. Well, what do you think that's leading up to? Is Brendan trying to get Bibbs to be his mentor or something, or he already is his mentor?
I'm not sure exactly, but I really hope that it's not leading up to a partnership or anything, because I like him with Whitney.
Yeah,
I think it could be kind of like a managerial role or something. I don't know, maybe.
Because he's still very much a player and a contender, so yeah. I'm not sure if he would take on the role of a manager. But yeah, talking about Whitney, I love him and Whitney together, but I think Whitney doesn't have the time. He doesn't seem to be very active on the Schmoedown, at least this season. So maybe that leads to a new teammate. I think they could kind of work.
That would be a good team. I think they would be super dominating. They're both strong in every single category, basically, that I've seen them in. They're both, and they work really great together. They seem like they'd have a good time. Entrances, just working well together. I like it.
Yeah, I'm a little biased because I have critically acclaimed on my fantasy team, so I don't want that to go. But I mean, I think that Brandon Meyer would actually complement Bibbs' skill set more, because they're different types of movies, and whereas Whitney, they kind of like the same movies, kind of. So I don't know. It could be a pretty good team if they decide to go that route. I kind of hope they not personally, but it could be fun.
Yeah, they could work, and I've got Brendan on my singles team, so yeah, I was glad he won.
I did not keep up with fantasy leagues. I did not do it. My bad.
Honestly, I drafted and I haven't changed a single player. I haven't done any trades. I'm just coasting, and I'm first in one of my leagues and second in the other one. Nice. It's quite surprising.
I'm 4th out of 6, which is not great. But yeah, anyway, so back to the match. Any other thoughts?
Let's talk about Taika Waititi.
Wow.
I just want to know who was laughing in the background. Was it Bibbs or was it Makuga? Because it sounded like Makuga's laugh. Someone was like...
That was a hearty laugh.
Yeah, that was... I almost felt bad.
Yes.
Because Brendan's so likable. You want to root for him, and when he messes up like that, and Ellis goes like, I can't give it to you.
I feel so bad.
It was the correct answer, just a wrong pronunciation. And I think I think that was a good thing for Mark Ellis to do in the match, especially because it was very obvious that he got it right and very obvious that he was pronouncing it wrong. So for Mark Ellis to stand his ground and not accepting that answer to that question, I think is important for the future of the Schmoedown and the questions, especially when people get all crazy worked up about wordings and questions and answers when people give somewhat slightly wrong answers. The Schmoedown has a fun history of sometimes accepting half an answer and sometimes not accepting half an answer. So I'm really glad that Mark stood his ground and said no.
Yeah, it does set a precedent, and I wonder if we're going to see a similar situation in the future and how that will play out. And I also wonder, like, if it was like a round one question where he has the opportunity to write the answer down. I wonder if he would have gotten it right then, like if he would have spelled it right and everything. But yeah, that was something.
And yeah, what I'm trying to remember during the match were there any other big questions? I'm kind of blanking at the moment. What was the final score? Do you remember?
It was 16-13.
16
okay.
Yeah.
So pretty close match.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. My favorite question out of that match was Video Drew's comic book movie question for her 5-pointer. It was who played Constantine's taxi driver.
Oh yeah. I love Constantine. I knew it so well. I was like, please get it.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
Oh man, have you guys ever seen that Rob Cantor video, Shia LaBeouf?
Which one is that? I don't think so.
He's coming out to get you. Real life cannibal, Shia LaBeouf.
No. I haven't.
Sorry, that's on the internet now.
I haven't seen that, but that sounds amazing.
Look it up. It is amazing. Yes.
And Constantine is an amazing movie.
It really is.
Underrated.
So Brandon hit all of his questions in round one, including the 9-point question. So I think that Brandon is going to be a big hit in the league. He's going to be a silent assassin, I think, and it's going to be really fun to see him get more into it and just continue in the league. I can't wait to see him do more.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Earlier this week, Dylan visited me, and we had a conversation about who was the most underrated in the Schmoedown. And I never even thought about Brandon, but I think you could make a case for him, because I mean, we didn't really know what to expect of him versus Oyama, because we all know Oyama and we all kind of expected him to win. But I mean, he's been showing up lately. He did really well in the free for all, and now this really good performance against Video Drew.
Yeah, there were some sweet fantasy points in the free for all, but yeah, him going up against Oyama, like overall, the newcomers have been beasts. Like Oyama, Chance, Brendan, they're all really, really good, and I'd say Oyama has a chance to go for the title at some point, because I think he has the knowledge.
Yeah, you know Oyama, you know that he's like super knowledgeable and has so much movie knowledge and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, him going up against Brendan going up against Oyama was kind of I was afraid of that match because I was so sure Paul was going to win. So I was glad to see Brendan like get his confidence back with the last win.
Yeah, I definitely think he needed a win. I just feel a little bit bad for Video Drew. I would love to see her back again.
I think she will be.
Do you guys follow her on Twitter?
No, I don't.
Okay, so she posted something. Big shout out to Cody James Spalding. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. It's off the top of my head. A long-time rival in the Schmoedown. Did you see his post about what she posted on Twitter? Yeah.
How she wasn't in character at all, and then when he started talking to her, she was like Video Drew and talking in the third person and everything. It was so funny.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
In that little Twitter, oh no, I'm sorry, it's not that. Emma McAllister, shout out to Emma Dollface. She tweeted something about Video Drew, and it almost seems like there could be a partnership in there. So that's really interesting. I'm excited to see what happens there.
Yeah, that could be a really interesting pairing if Emma ever makes it into the league.
How has she been doing in the fan leagues? I heard she's gotten matches.
I haven't been keeping up, but she's been pretty active there.
Cool.
I haven't seen a match with her yet.
Oh, and she also got a shout out on Collider Live.
Nice.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, they were talking about. Actually, I think it was like a false report in the sense that someone said that Dollface challenged Makuga. And they were talking on Collider Live. Did someone challenge you, Dollface? Who's Dollface? And Christian goes, "Yeah, in a fan league player." But then Emma actually said later that she didn't actually challenge Makuga. There was like some misinterpretation, but at least she got her name out there. I think it's pretty good.
I think it was something like because she's like has that horror background and has that persona. Like her going against Makuga would just be a really funny match to watch between the two of them.
It really would be. Now that you say it, I think it would be perfect.
That would be so
wow.
fun.
Yeah. That would be fun. What did you guys think of the post-match scene?
Oh, with Zipper and Dagnino, I thought it was interesting. Like, I thought Zipper was a lock for the dungeon, but I mean, I think it's interesting where they're going with him. Like, he doesn't really have like a team yet, and he's kind of looking around. I don't know. Like, I hope that he joins the dungeon because I think him, Smets, Kaiser, and Oyama would make a pretty good faction.
I think so too. I agree.
Yeah, and I think it was that the one where Dagnino was all vague about be careful who you join?
Yeah, that's
it. Oh, perfect. It was just so vague and so Bobby.
Very on brand for Tom.
Exactly.
All right, you guys have any more thoughts on the match, or you want to move on?
I think we could move on. What do you think, Daniel?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right, let's get to the team title match. Yeah,
I can't get that song out of my head. I can't.
So really quickly, the scene before the match, the Kaiser Kalinowski scene. That
Smets is creepy.
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I love these scenes. I love all of these cutscenes. It's really fun to watch them grow. When they used to just be few and far between, just you would wait for the end of the video to see or look. I used to check the timestamp on it to see if there was like extra time towards the end. Then I know to stay for a cutscene. So I'm really glad that the production on these scenes have really gone up, and I love everyone being involved in it. It's so great.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this match. Like, because what the thing with Energeekdom is, like, Smets and Kalinowski are, in my opinion, the only two really serious threats to Cushing's title. But just because the division is not like stacked from top to bottom doesn't mean like it's not super competitive. I mean, any one of those three can like come away with the title. Like, I have no idea how to call this.
Yeah, that's true. Smets has really invigorated the Energeekdom League. I feel like, Cushing and Kalinowski were, and Dan's girlfriend, champ before. Mara, that's right. And she was also, I was really happy when she joined the league. I think she brought some new blood and kind of like freshened up the Energeekdom League. I kind of felt like it needed it, and now Smets has completely like lifted it up. And yeah, I don't understand how Kalinowski can look Smets in the eye when he's got that feral look, and I was afraid. That's an intimidating look he has.
That's my best Smets impression.
Yeah, and you need a hood.
Yeah. But like, I don't know, because like Smets is a friend of the show, obviously, and I've talked in the past about how Kalinowski really cares about Energeekdom, and he really studies and he really tries to put work in. But here comes Smets, and he's putting in work too. So like, these are two dedicated competitors, and I'm rooting for Smets, but I would be happy either way.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Smets also. He's an Action Army member, isn't he?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so I think Smets has the momentum going for him. So I think he's gonna destroy Mike. Although, as you said, I'm a fan of Mike, so I'd be totally fine with him winning. Also, I just want Smets to go all the way at the moment.
Yeah,
that's a really good point actually, because Kalinowski is coming off of a loss, isn't he? And Smets is undefeated. He's on a roll right now, so the momentum is definitely on his side.
Yeah, I want Smets to win this match 100% for sure. But I think it would be really interesting if he loses to Mike Kalinowski and have that be his first loss. That would be so much fun to watch that story go, like just revenge Smets. That'd be fun. But I still want him to win.
Oh, definitely.
The Smash Changer. So when is that during a live show?
I think it's June 22nd. I'm not sure if it's during a live show. I think it's Collision.
Oh yeah, Collision. You're right. You're absolutely right.
And the winner plays Cushing at a live show, I think, right?
Yeah, I think that's the one. Phew, you saved me. So to the match then.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Woo!
I don't know if you know this. I'm not the biggest Charwolves fan, so I'm very happy. I know a lot of people can't stand Snyder. I kind of like him, but like I know he does some questionable things, but I kind of like that about him. I don't know. It's a weird relationship that I have, like the fandom I have towards him.
I'm not the biggest fan of Snyder, but I think the league needs him, and the team division benefits from having him as champion because he's such a natural heel. Like that's one of like punching the face. He has a very punchable face.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I mean, he's just so good at being a bad guy. Like you can't help but root against him. At least for me, obviously. And it's not a popular opinion on the Call to Action podcast. I actually talked about this with Dylan, but I am a big Clark Wolf fan. So it's me, Dylan, and I think Danielle, you're a Clark Wolf fan too.
Absolutely.
So it's just the three of us that are Clark Wolf fans. I'm pretty bummed that they lost, but I think it sets up a really interesting match, the rematch.
It's funny you mentioned Clark Wolf because I got so angry at her during this match. I don't know, like honestly, I love Rachel and I love Clark, but somehow them as a team, they rub me the wrong way, and I don't know what it is. Like when Clark challenged Draco about, she did the correct challenge. I can't remember what it was. Oh, Apu, yeah, the Apu one. And the way she did it, I was like, oh no, just be less condescending or sort of, I don't know, something was, I lost my mind during that point. But it was a correct challenge, so I totally get it. And kudos to Mark for being such an honest player.
100%. I didn't catch it the first time when I watched the match the first time. I thought he said Abu also, and then when I just recently watched it to refresh on it, I distinctly heard Apu with a P. So he definitely said Apu, and he owned up to it. So that was great.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's funny, actually. An Estonian translation is Apu, just like APU. So when I watched it in the cinema and when Mark answered it, I was like, yeah, that's correct. I don't know.
So technically it was right.
Yeah. But yeah, well, let's talk about Snyder's get up.
I love that Jeff Snyder gets into entrances. Watch all of his entrances. He's into it. Even if Mark and Draco isn't dressed up, Jeff Snyder dresses up in like the best dollar store costumes ever. I appreciate Jeff Snyder for always putting effort into his entrances.
That's why they're the odd couple, because Mark usually doesn't go along and like Snyder goes all the way.
So good.
Yeah, Snyder takes it up to like 11, and then Draco's just like, he just has this old deadpan look. He doesn't really play along that much. He doesn't really have a character, but I really like them together. Kind of like it depends on the day, but yeah, they have a very fitting team name, the Odd Couple. They could not be more different from each other, and I think that's what makes them work.
Yeah, you were talking about Andreiko's look. Did you watch Ben and Drew's live stream?
I haven't seen it yet.
I think that there was there was one where Ben was imitating Mark Andreiko, and he was like, he has something from Andreiko, and it's sort of he did the exact look that he always does. This, he looks right through you. Oh, so yeah. Anyway, that's that.
Yeah, I mentioned during the reaction that I can't really buy Andreiko as a heel because he's just so likable. But he does have this kind of like quiet sass about him that he does have like a little bit of dark side. And I don't know, I think it's really interesting because I wouldn't really classify this team as a heel, even though I think they probably would be. But yeah, I don't know. This really sets up an interesting story because like what happens if the Shire Wolves don't win? I mean, if they do win, then that sets up a trilogy, and I would love to see that. But where do they go from here if they lose?
Yeah, that'd be. I'm actually hoping for the Shire Wolves will retain the belts because I've got both teams on my on my roster again. So I'm biased, kind of. But oh damn, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, do you think if the Shire Wolves win the belt back, they would get another chance at it?
That's a good
I
question.
think they had to earn their way back up again.
Yeah, because they never defended it if they lose, so they wouldn't warrant a rematch. I don't think.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was. Let's talk about Snyder, and what bothered me was how checked out he was when I think Andreiko missed a question. I can't remember what it was. I think he misspelled it again.
Mm-hmm.
And from that point on, Snyder was just like, he does this, he's a sore loser. And that's one of the reasons why I like him, because I recognize myself, I'm the worst loser ever. And he's sort of like, yeah, he's like this the entire match. He knows, yeah, we're going to lose, we're going to lose, we're going to lose. And then they end up winning and he's sort of like back again. But I don't know, I kind of recognize myself in the way that he's already preparing for the loss, but I'd wish he wouldn't do it.
Yeah, he kind of wears his heart on his sleeve. Like you can always tell when he's upset or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He does that often in every match. I feel like I see him do that, just huff and puff. But that's very Snyder. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about the Shire Wolves entrance.
Dun 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 dun
Oh, yeah.
God, I'm already crying. I would like to say that I think Clark Wolf came out as Sansa Stark and not Jon Snow. So.
I think you might be right.
Yeah, she had on the
necklace
that Sansa wears, and she had on a dress.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. Yeah.
And then Rachel coming out as Brianna fucking Tarth is.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Loved it.
I wish they had a Tormund with them.
Yes.
But
who would be Tormund?
Good question.
We'll come back to that.
Bibbs?
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
What up?
Hey, what's going on? What up?
Okay. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Are you calling in from your car?
I'm calling in from my car.
Perfect. Because I was talking to Paul before, and he was like, I might get a chance to pop in, but everyone's sleeping. And I'm like, okay, I wonder where he's going to call from. Because last time we did a live chat, I had to call in from the toilet because my girlfriend was sleeping upstairs.
I'm waiting for my wife to come out in my driveway and go, what the hell are you doing? It's for the Action Army. What can I say?
You actually look really cool in the dark, sort of like the light is. You're looking very ominous.
Shadowy.
Yeah.
Yeah, very badass right now.
Paul is always in the shadows.
That's right.
Night.
I can go like this if I have my face.
So yeah, we were talking about Shire Wolves and the Odd Couple. What do you think?
The title match. Ooh.
Yeah.
That match was quite a match, I gotta say. I was surprised. I was surprised at the outcome. I really was. The Shirewolves have just seemed so unbeatable. But I was really hoping. I actually was hoping they would win because I wanted Who's the Boss to beat them. To be honest with you, or the family. Either way, I wanted them to be the ones to take them down. But and Draco deserves it. He's been working a long time, and Snyder. He's Snyder.
Yeah, we were just talking about Snyder before. The sort of love-hate relationship we have with him.
Yeah,
he's entertaining. He's entertaining.
Oh yeah,
as fuck, but I mean,
definitely. But overall, about the Shirewolves' entrance, their Game of Thrones entrance, they usually have like better entrances, I'd say. Sort of like Rachel, took her sword out, but that was sort of it. I wanted like more because they usually have something more going for their entrances. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not what we were accustomed to, like the whole big grand entrance, but it's very topical, I think, because the Game of Thrones trend has happened.
kind of harken back to her Near's Watch days in her way.
So Rachel was pretty off on her game throughout this match. I personally think so. She missed a few questions in round one, and she just didn't seem quite there. Clark seemed on fire, but Rachel kind of seemed a little off to me in this match.
I think it's actually quite on par with the Odd Couple because I'm trying so hard not to say Schneider. Snyder was doing very well, and Draco was kind of the one slacking, wasn't he? At first, I mean. So I think they kind of balanced each other out like that.
Yeah, I think both teams performed to the best of their abilities, or at least as much as we've seen them. I think they deserved it. The Odd Couple did, but they did get lucky a little bit because, like, I remember in round 5, I was telling Dylan, like, there's no way the Shirewolves are going to win. They have their 3 and their 5 left, and they missed them both, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. That 5-point question was really hard. I'm a big fan of animated movies. That is my strongest category, I feel like. And that 5-point question that they got was really hard.
What was it?
It was who voiced the main characters from the movie El Dorado.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was Kevin Kline and Kenneth Branagh. So super deep cut, man.
I've never even heard of that movie.
Rachel right away didn't know. I don't know how if you guys saw it or not. She mouthed right away, "One is Brad Pitt," and that's all she had, and that was even wrong. So she was definitely off her game.
Yeah, it worked out well for me. I got some sweet fantasy points.
I always feel like it sucks. Like every time, bringing this back to action as we do all the time. It seems like whenever action are in their big moment, they had a big match, or Who's the Boss is a big match. The other team always seems to rise to the occasion and have like every possible answer their way. They never can face anybody when they have the off day.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah,
it sucks. Yeah, that is very true. Because this match, like I'd say, both teams they played the best they could, but I feel like they both were at like 70% of what they actually can do. Because if I'm not mistaken, after round 2, both teams have like 20 plus points, and then when they get to round 5, they're down to 20. So the last 2 rounds they actually lost points.
Yeah.
That was the betting round. The betting round, it was a Julia Roberts question. Julia Roberts was the category. It was what did she teach in Larry Crown?
Oh yeah, that's another deep cut, I feel like.
And they were even. I think it was 2020 when they went into that round, and then
Multiple bet 3 and Shirewolves bet 2, and they both got it wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
In 1918. And Mark Andreyko killed it in that 4th round. That speed round. Mark Andreyko is pop, pop, pop.
Yeah, when he's on, he's really fucking on. Like, it's so weird to me seeing Andreyko with a belt. but he's a championship level caliber player. But like it's so weird to me. Like I never would have thought that he would win in that fashion, like against the Gyros.
Yeah, I agree with that. So who's left now? Who's left now who can have that title, like the best player without a belt? I mean, it's Ben, right? Is there anybody else?
Oh yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
I think I actually wanted to mention this before when we were talking about Inner Geekdom also. Ben has been long like teasing that he might do Inner Geekdom. I don't think it's happening now, but do you think it ever will?
Maybe he's gonna be the Five Horsemen's Inner Geekdom player.
They need one.
They do need one.
Could be. I do know that at one point there was a possibility. I would bet that if Drew had beaten Ben and Ben couldn't compete in the singles, I wouldn't be surprised if that would have been his impetus to jump.
Yeah.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Because then he had a reason to do it. So, because he couldn't like be away from the Schmoedown for that long.
Right. Yeah. Man, Andrew should have won that match. So much better.
Absolutely.
The Belfort face.
Done.
It's my favorite.
I had to hold him back.
Hold me back, bro.
I'll grab it onto his shirt. I hope I get a camera angle from that angle because I actually grabbed onto his shirt a few times.
Oh, did you really?
I did. I don't even know if he felt it. He was so like in the moment. That was an event. An event.
So back to the match really quickly. I like how we keep talking about how everyone was off on their game and it was like a 70% in there and they ended up with a 22-25 points at the end. And I think that's a pretty big point.
Yeah.
But it's a 5-round match.
Yeah.
And Team Action has gone over 30 points with a 3-round
match. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. That's true.
I forgot about it being 5 rounds.
I don't think it was an awful performance. I just think it wasn't the best we've seen them. Like it was obviously Akawa's biggest win, but I don't think it was their best win.
Yeah, that's true. Because they beat Who's the Boss last time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Chicago.
That's right. Damn.
It just goes to show you that like really anybody could be dominating, and then just the right set of questions. You know, they're beatable. Anybody's beatable at any time. We already found that out anyway, but. So when the Shire Wolves were cut, they're like Drago, they're like in Rocky 4, they're cut, and they're gonna have to see how they respond now.
I was actually very pleasantly surprised how they took the defeat. I was expecting tears and like highly emotional sort of. Again, I'm going like I hope my dislike towards like I dislike the Shire Wolves in a way that I enjoy disliking them as in a wrestling match. So when I say I don't like them, it's like I enjoy not liking them. I hope that makes sense because I respect everyone in the league.
Yeah.
But I was so sure when they were going to lose that there was going to be cringy to watch or sort of, but they were very gracious and sort of they looked motivated to have the rematch.
Yeah.
Yeah. It probably helped that Andreyko was on the other side. If they're going to lose to somebody they didn't mind losing to Andreyko.
Yeah.
If it was like a heel or somebody else, then a big heel or somebody else, and they might have gone a little different. Speaking of heels, I'm hoping that the Shire Wolves lose again because I'm really wanting to see Clark Wolf go heel.
That's what I'm
Yeah, I'd really like to see that. Maybe I'd start liking Clark Wolf.
I don't know if I want her to go like full heel. I want to go like at least not babyface. I want her to be the Becky Lynch for pushing Charlotte Flair. And if you don't follow wrestling, Becky Lynch isn't like a good guy or a bad guy. She's just the main.
Tweeners.
Yeah, a tweener, exactly. She's a tweener. Don't go around and keep everybody. I would love to see that.
Yeah, even that would be fine by me. Something like, because I just don't think she has too much sass in her to be a babyface. Like you could sell it. She wants to get a little darker at times, but I think she's like feeling that whole girl power, role model, superwoman kind of thing that she has to kind of follow those rules, so to speak, at this point. But hey, that's what Hulk Hogan was too at the time, and then he went NWO, so that's a wrestling big thing.
Oh, what if the Shirewolves turn heel now because of their loss, and they're going like in a revenge mode?
See, I would love that. I don't know if Rachel could pull that off, though.
Yeah, well, Rachel had that. Why I'm saying that, because Rachel had that really cool entrance from Lord of the Rings, Lady Galadriel, when she went like all dark like that. I think that could kind of work.
True. That's true. That's true. It could be good.
I think it would be really sad to see Clark leave Rachel after Ken left Rachel in such a as a heel turn. So to have that happen to her twice would kind of be sad, I think. But I think it would be fun to if the Shirewolves lose again, and I think that would be a fun transition for both of them to go heel. I think that would totally work. I think Rachel can pull it off. She's sassy. She's got some sass.
She does. She does. It'd be interesting to see. It could also be a way they could do it is not necessarily have Clark turn on Rachel, but just kind of like after another loss, they just kind of go their separate ways, and then Clark slowly just becomes even like we were saying before, like the tweener aspect. Just kind of like it's a little darker, a little sassier on her own, and then goes from there maybe.
I just really want to see Clark versus Rachel Christian. I think that would be a monster to have.
That could be very cool. Very, very cool.
Shirewolves Civil War. No, it's been done. They can't copy it. They can't copy action.
Everyone else does.
It's true. It's true. I mean, I don't think people understand how action. A lot of non-action fans don't understand like how they are that one side of the equation. Like they are the top team, and even if they're not as a team, as like a rivalry or whatever, they have that performance thing down like nobody's business. Like they're the only ones that could have been in the wrestling ring.
They have been carrying this season, surely.
Oh,
absolutely. People don't get it because they the antics. Some people don't like the antics, but that is their shtick. Merle, like some people have this trivia shtick, they have the performance shtick, and they can do a little bit of both, obviously. But it's so. I think it'd be so missing if you didn't have that. But people don't get that. I don't think. Some people don't anyway.
Yeah, and there's actually, now that I think of it, during the pre-match interviews, I think Clark says, we just want to play the match. We don't want any antics. So that kind of makes me think that they're not so much into their characters as much as just trivia. So that kind of rules out them going heel.
Yeah, maybe. I do think Clark, I do wonder if Clark says that for Rachel's, I know Rachel I love Rachel. I respect her. I think she's really an awesome competitor. She does obviously take things to heart quite.
Yeah. She cares. So, she cares a lot.
Cares a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah, she takes comments really seriously. I mean, some people can take asshole comments and just, something like Drew like feeds on it. Rachel that takes it really seriously and it's like, it's affected. No, that's who she is, and that's fine. I think maybe Clark might be saying that stuff, maybe be on that seat. I kind of think Clark could do it, and I think maybe she's being with Rachel is kind of want to be almost protective of that aspect of it. I'm just disappeared.
Yeah, you went dark. It was actually pretty cool.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
I guess I can't stay there too long with the light on. That's right.
Oh, I wish that Kim would come by the car window and sort of just knock, and it would look really creepy if someone was knocking, like the dark windows and everything.
And then it goes dark.
And we just hear you scream.
Denuzio,
so, yeah, that'd be the perfect way to. But
man,
we should talk about Roxy a little bit also. Do you think she's a lock? for manager of the. Sorry, I interrupted you.
I'm super sorry. Just really quickly about the match. Yes, she is a lot. But they're the Odd Couples 5-point question about Clockwork Orange and what kind of bar it was that they set up. Is that the second time we've heard this question? I feel like I heard it in a match and they went to it was a multiple choice. It was a round 2 question and it went to multiple choice because I remember the different. I feel like I remember that. So I feel like this Clockwork Orange question is a 2 questions.
I don't remember if they've ever done it before, but they've definitely had questions that have been repeated before. Like they've had a question, I don't remember what it was, but it was asked to Dan Murrell once, and then it was asked again. So I wouldn't put it past them. It might happen. There hasn't been like a lot of. I mean, yeah, okay. There are a lot of movies, but sometimes a few questions slip through, and I don't know. It happens sometimes.
I know that Christian had said something one time about that, like if there's a repeat question that I think he told it to competitors. I can't remember. It might have been a Patreon thing that I heard it on, but something about letting the competitors know if they feel like they've heard this question before, then to say something about it. But it happens. I mean, there's not a lot of people writing these questions for this league. So shout out to Chris Galicki for doing a great job.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't remember that question being asked, but that's just me. I haven't seen Clockwork Orange, or I wouldn't have known the answer either. So
it's a movie that you probably will watch once and
never again. Okay.
Maybe. It's a good movie though. It's not a bad movie. It just puts you in a weird place.
Yeah, I know those kind of movies. I couldn't get through Magnolia.
You tried for Ben.
I tried. So yeah.
I definitely think Roxy should be manager of the year. Yes, 100%.
I think
that's right.
As of right now, she's not a lot. She has a really good chance, but I mean, the other person I can think of that could take that away from him is Kaiser.
Yep.
Like if he leads Mets to the title, you can make a case for him.
Okay, if he leads Mets to the title, it's a 50-50 chance still. But right now, Roxy is way ahead, I'd say.
Yeah, but you got to
way ahead.
That Roxy's managing a team, and Kaiser might have a faction on his hands with Yama and Zipper. So I don't know. There's still
don't count tagging out with the Horsemen now. You don't count them out.
There's going to be a lot of people who vote for him because of that. Yeah.
He's got his fan base, that's for sure. So, I mean, if like the Founding Fathers or now Who's the Boss get the titles at some point.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. But I kind of feel like Roxy deserves it, and I really want her to win.
Oh, I agree. Dagdino had it. So Dagdino's done it before. I'd like to see Roxy get it because she's done a good job this year, definitely.
Because I'm so happy that she's gotten more involved in the league. I remember when she was when Collider Live when Schmoe's No Show transferred into Collider Live, she was talking about Christian was trying to get Roxy on the Schmoedown, and she was very wary. She didn't know. She was afraid. She didn't know the answers or anything. But I'm so glad that they found a niche for her as a manager, and she's perfect for it. Like all the things. Okay, that's another thing I wanted to talk about is. We can talk about the post match scene, right? The one with Roxy and Ben. Like, there's few friendships where you can bring in your actual exes and make a joke about it and sort of be totally okay and like advertise it in like every way possible. I think it's very rare that shows how tight really Ben and Drew and Roxy are.
Oh yeah. I don't think very many relationships could do that, especially, I mean, it is an old, I don't know, some people, again, back to my wrestling knowledge that I used to love watching wrestling, it actually is a wrestling storyline from the past. Similarly, there's a wrestler called Edge and a wrestler called Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
And they had a girlfriend, Lita, and it was exactly a similar situation. Like, Lita left Matt Hardy for Edge, and then they said, well, we're going to bring that in. Christian seems to be taking storylines from WWE past here and there. Like I kind of recognize that. I kind of recognize that one and little bits and pieces. But yeah, you need somebody who's willing, and able to go the extra mile, and they definitely are, and they're definitely close. So it works. It definitely works.
Yeah, I love that they're game for it because it is a very pro wrestling thing to do. Like that the whole Matt Hardy and Edge and Lita thing isn't the only case we've seen of that. Like we had Kurt Angle, Karen Angle, and Jeff Jarrett do the same thing where Karen Angle left Kurt Angle and they had a whole storyline around it. So I mean, kudos to them for like playing along with that.
And that's what some people take that, or some people in the forums got so upset about that. I'm like, if they're okay, like if they weren't okay with it, then they wouldn't be doing it.
Exactly right.
I
mean,
exactly. So yeah, I can't remember what it was. Ben's comeback about what Roxy said, but Ben said the best thing he could, sort of, and Roxy walked away. And then still he looked down and he seemed sort of beaten or something. But I think he kind of put Roxy in her place. He was totally like unfazed by what she said. But then there was like this moment when he was like it got to him.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what he said either, but I kind of felt I know what you're talking about. I felt the same way. Like he definitely had said the right thing, and she was trying to get under his skin, but he was kind of like,
yeah, it doesn't work. But then she walked away and it worked.
Right.
I think the boss secretly feels bad about joining the Horsemen. I think he knows that he betrayed the family.
I think I came up with my dream scenario. I think, Paul, you read what I wrote of how I'd like to see Team Action get back together. You remember it?
Oh, I remember. Yeah, let me tell you, not just you. I remember I had a talk with Belford. I think Brendan Hannock. A few of us started writing all these like dream sequences, like these fan fiction sequences of how it was going to happen. But go ahead, Jarvis. Go ahead with yours.
No, I'm not gonna read out the entire thing. It's a bit too long. But I'm curious of if basically if they get back to if Ben and Drew got back together, what would the Roxy angle be in it? Like,
that's the one thing I hadn't thought about, to be honest, at that point. But I figure eventually something will have to give. Maybe Roxy will turn on. I mean, that's actually not. I mean, this isn't a spoiler because it doesn't happen. But another situation like that happened in wrestling at one point where the Macho Man had Elizabeth. Elizabeth left, and he had Sherry. And at one point, Sherry turned against the Macho Man, was beat him up in the ring, and Elizabeth came to his rescue. So in this case, I hate to compare Ben to Miss Elizabeth, but what if Roxy decides to turn on Drew, and Ben comes to the rescue? Ben steps in and kind of like that's the way to actually reunite them in a way. So maybe that would be the impetus, so to speak.
I have learned so much about wrestling in the past month, like since the Schmoedown Houston event. Like I know who Bret Hart is.
I still don't.
But I've learned so much about wrestling. Thanks, y'all.
That's the one thing where I'm slacking 100%. I've never watched a wrestling match. I've never been into it. All I know about wrestling has come from the Schmoedown.
Wrestling actually got me into the Schmoedown. It's funny because there's this wrestler called Xavier Woods, and he has a YouTube channel called Up, Up, Down, Down. He introduced me to Kind of Funny, and Nick Scarpino's part of Kind of Funny, and Nick Scarpino introduced me to Schmoedown. So it's funny how that came all full circle. But yeah, I love the wrestling aspect. I wouldn't watch it if it was just movie trivia.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can get, like Christian said it before. I mean, it's worth saying again, though. You can get movie trivia anywhere. Anyway, any local bar, you can get movie trivia. Sure, some people in the league are really good, but there's really good people everywhere. The entertainment value is the additional storylines, the characters, and the Dastardly one definitely gets that.
That's
why
why.
we gravitate toward them.
Exactly. That's why Team Action and Ben and Drew are what they are. It's because they're very good at trivia and they're even better at show.
Right. Exactly. And they play off each other so well. Their camaraderie just is such a natural fit. So
I wonder if how long do you think the Civil War is gonna go on for? Do you think it's gonna sort of wrap up this season, or it's gonna carry on?
Oh, it's definitely going to go through this season. Definitely, this is going to be the Civil War year. Could it rebound? Could the reuniting happen at Spectacular, for example? Possible. But I guess it kind of depends on how things go too. I mean, if Ben and Mark win the title, for example, and they're the tag team champions, well, they're not going to reunite Action then, obviously. Or the same thing if the Drew train, Drew, if they win the titles or something, it's not going to happen. But
the Drew train, I love it.
For a long time. In New York, I started the Drew chain chanting before they got together. Because that's what I was hoping that Drew's partner was going to be. But if none of them have titles and they're both like out of the picture, it might be a good time to spark it. That's what usually happens in wrestling when the storyline fizzles because there's no heat, there's no belts anymore, nothing involved. That's how you create the spark again by bringing them back together. So it kind of depends on where they are, I think.
Man, we have endless entertainment with these guys. Any of these storylines can go any which way. And I think that's my favorite part about the Schmoedown in general is just that it's not, it's staged and scripted to a point, but you still, it's still true because you still have to get through the actual trivia challenge to allow those storylines to progress. So I think they're doing a great job.
Yeah, it's quite crazy when I heard, like, I always knew that Harloff had two storylines going on based off a win or a loss, but I didn't know to that extent. I had no idea that if Drew won, was it the Horsemen were supposed to break up completely?
Yeah,
well,
Riley was supposed
at least.
Horseman.
Yeah, Riley was supposed to stay with Ben, and basically Roca and Merle were going to like look at Ben in the ring and go, he's not worthy of being a Horseman. And then Mark was going to walk up the aisle, like almost like he was going to go with him, turn around and look and decide to stay with Ben. So it would have been just the founding fathers at that point, and just who's the boss at that point.
That's crazy how big of a change it would have been. Almost
huge. The 5 horsemen are done.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm so sad. Andrew lost.
I know. I was so passionate the whole time. I couldn't figure out who to root for. But then, I guess after 14 tequila shots with the guy, you can't not root for him.
I actually did the 5 horsemen, but I'm not sure if I'm actually enjoying doing it. I know Ben has to, but I don't think he wants to.
You can kind of tell. Remember the 5 horsemen thing? Ben had his pinky kind of going like this. I think it was like.
It's not. Oh, I wonder if Ben's ever going to leave. He's going to go like this, and then just. I don't know if we can curse. We can curse here. It's just going to flip him off.
That would be awesome.
Yes.
So, oh yeah, we can't cover family or Inky yet.
I haven't seen it, so probably best that we
All right. Yeah, no. That was the deal.
I would also like to send a big shout out to Mark and Draco for winning the team belt at the beginning. What a great way to kick off Pride Month. Thank you, Mark.
And we can't forget that it's James's birthday.
Happy birthday, James!
Happy birthday, James.
We salute you.
We salute you. I loved it during yesterday's AMA that Jesse was sort of saluting the fans also. Did you notice?
I did notice that.
That was very cool.
Well, I just received that the live chat for this episode is really active, and Andrew is here. He's watching over now.
Ben is too, actually. He just said.
Oh, really? How can they be watching us? if they're not in the chat.
I had no idea we were live like that.
Me neither. This. Oh, come on, Ben and Drew. They're lying. They said they're not good with tech stuff. How are they doing this? Probably Hannah. Yeah, it's the wizard working for them.
It's the intern.
Yeah, it's the intern.
What?
Yeah. Any more thoughts on the match?
Awkward silence.
Because we know we're being watched now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everyone's like, yeah, okay.
Well, what else did we? Well, I missed since I jumped in late, obviously. So, did we talk about the other match we were going to talk about, or did you guys already cover that?
We talked about the kid and the video, Drew, before.
You already talked about that. Okay.
Yeah, you can give us your thoughts anyway. What did you think of that?
All right, I'll quickly throw it in there. I would say that the kid is he could be for real. I like where he's going.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that him and Bibbs get together. It's gonna be cool. Although poor Whitney Seibold at that point.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're speculating on, if Seibold would be out or not.
But Video Drew was an interesting character. I like that she wasn't like a lot of times the new people come in, they don't have any character at all. It's kind of just like just straight trivia to start, but she has at least a starting point to go from.
Mm-hmm.
And then she develops it. I mean, little like Dollface.
Yeah. I got Dollface vibes. I've actually never like talked to Emma or anything like that, but like via camera. But I kind of got the Dollface vibes from her.
She's definitely a character. We love Dollface.
And that's the third Drew. Is it? No, it's the fourth. Now, how many Drews do we have in the Schmoedown?
Oh God.
McWeenie, Guy, Video Drew. I think we have someone else. Well, okay, Andrew is Andrew, not Drew. I just call him Drew. He probably hates it. I'm still gonna do it.
He's dastardly Drew. He's good.
Yeah, okay, yeah, of course. I at some point I remember him saying that no one really calls him Drew, and then I was like, I'm gonna call him Drew.
You're the rebel, Jardy. Always have. And he loves you. He went shirtless for you.
Oh yeah. Now that he's watching, all right. There we go. All right. I'm not gonna do it. I'm actually at work. Oh shit.
Well, I could. No, I better not. I don't know. Then my wife would really be wondering what I'm doing out in the car.
Shirtless in a car. It's dark.
Oh, hi, honey. Oh man,
this is gonna turn into our rated stuff now, right? We gotta wrap it up.
All right, so yeah, let's wrap it up. I think it's a good place to stop.
Probably.
All right, so Danielle, where can we find you?
You can find me on the Movie Trivia Schmoedown Facebook page, on the Action Industry Facebook page. You can also find me on Twitter at lady_Loston. It's a Game of Thrones reference, okay? Or at Danny Joy, whatever you want. Okay, hi.
Cool. And how about you, Paul?
At Paul_Denuzio on Twitter. Of course, the patreon.com/team action. Come on.
Go become a patron. Go subscribe.
A lot of great swag coming. I'll be sure to talk to you about it too.
Absolutely. How about you, Richard?
You can find me at Richard Eric with a K Jarvie on Instagram, and go follow Action Industries on Instagram also. Lots of new. Yeah, I mean, I'm blanking on my English right now. Anyway, lots of new content and announcements on there also.
Yeah, great new schedule set up. Great new schedule set for Action Industry.
That's right.
Really cool. There are a lot of content coming.
Yeah, there's the 200th episode week gonna be up. It's gonna be like content every day.
Yeah, we're talking of a bunch of different things about that. Hopefully some sketches. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But And of course, the live streams, like Drew and Ben have been doing their live streams.
The best. I love the live streams.
So interpersonal. It's great. It's great stuff.
It's the best stuff. It really is. I think what Ben and Drew are doing with the fans and just team action in general, no one else is doing this in the Schmoedown. I don't think so, at least. I don't see any other interaction from any other competitor the way that Ben and Andrew do with us, and I just think that's so great. Good job, guys.
Yep, definitely.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh, it's a great family.
So you're the family fan, or who's the boss now? Make up your mind, bro. Heavy breathing.
Well, if Ben comes to New York and gets me drunk on tequila, I could go back. You never know.
You heard it here, Ben.
There you have it. All right. You can find me at facebook.com/MissMarvel13. Also, letterbox.com/9844. I'm on Twitter, but probably shouldn't follow me there. I don't do anything on there. So that's it.
Mr.
It's fun.
That's
Thank
it.
you all. Later.